So when you picture Korea today, you probably think Seoul, right? Gleaming skyscrapers, those super fast trains. But before all that, there was a really different Korea. Quieter, a land of, rice fields, mountains, rivers, shaped by its people's spirit. Today, we're doing a deep dive into that foundational history, looking at sources like Korea, from ancient roots to modern marvel. We want to unpack how Korea went from, well, real hardship to the powerhouse it is today.
Absolutely. And what's key here, I think, is understanding how those early struggles actually laid the groundwork. We have to look at the early 20th century, particularly that period of Japanese colonial rule, 1910 to 45. It wasn't just hardship in general.
Yeah.
The source details intense cultural suppression. Think forced name changes, suppression of the Korean language, forced labor.
Yeah.
It was a direct assault on identity.
That sounds incredibly tough. The source says the fire of identity never faded. But how exactly? I mean, under that kind of systemic pressure, was it active resistance or something quieter?
Well, the source suggests it was often both, but the quiet ways were maybe more pervasive. Things like secret schools teaching Korean at home, even though it was illegal.
Yeah.
And people deliberately holding on to traditional arts, community rituals. Small acts, maybe, but they added up. They were about defiance, about survival, really. Often risky things done by ordinary people.
Right, so it lived on in those everyday actions. And I guess that fire, that resilience, was tested almost immediately again, wasn't it, after World War II ended? Hope returns, but then, boom, the Korean War in 1950, tearing the peninsula apart, literally brothers fighting brothers, cities just flattened. And that division, that line drawn on the map, it's still there. The source really paints a sobering picture of that devastation.
It really does. And that leads us right into the mid-1950s. The source is clear. South Korea was officially one of the poorest countries in the world then. To make that real for you, kids often walking barefoot, dirt roads, not paved streets, markets with, well, more hooks than actual food available, homes literally made of straw and mud, not the concrete and glass we associate with Korea now. It was really, really basic existence for most people.
Wow, that's a stark image. But, the source also highlights this paradox. Even in that deep poverty, there was pride, community, this incredible resilience. Yeah, it brings it alive with these details, doesn't it? Like the sound of temple bells in the morning, kids laughing while playing with just stones and sticks, or elders keeping traditions alive, telling ancient stories by candlelight. It really speaks to a spirit that just refused to break, despite everything. What kept them going, specifically, beyond just spirit?
That's a great question. It wasn't just passive endurance. The source shows how this resilience fueled early self-help movements, community initiatives, pooling resources, however meager. Informal education popped up, local leaders emerged. They were building foundations, you see, even without much outside help. This is way before the miracle on the Han River, that famous economic transformation, before Samsung, before Hyundai, before K-pop took over the world. Life was incredibly hard then, really tough, but hearts were strong. That collaborative spirit was key, and that difficult time, often overlooked, truly laid the foundation for everything that came later. You really need to grasp this past to understand Korea today.
So today, when you look at the dynamic, innovative Korea we see now, it's important to remember that older Korea. And remember it maybe not with sorrow, but with a sense of gratitude, because it was out of those quiet struggles, that collective strength, that today's powerful Korea was born.
Exactly. So maybe a final thought for you listening. Think about how challenging beginnings, really tough starts, can often forge incredible strength. For nations, yes, but for individuals too. What does Korea's story tell you about resilience? About finding strength when the odds seem completely stacked against you, and how sometimes the most important foundations are built in the toughest times.